is the most expensive, most The race for the stars and the stratosphere is accelerating. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and see what the Pentagon is hiding, you know what to do. Hit subscribe, smash that bell, because in the 6th generation war, if you aren't looking ahead, you've already been deleted.